Hello, hello. Hello. How are you today? I hope you've had a good day. It's Tesh. Kindly, if you're there, let me know who I'm talking to, guys, so that, we can interact. Thank you so much. I can see we are two there. Thank you. Yeah. If you don't mind, you can let me know who is there and then, yeah, so that's I don't feel like, who am I talking to out there? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. It's Teshua Jogona. I do not take it for granted that you're here. Hello, Alice. Oh my God. Hello, Martha. Hello, hello, hello. Guys, today it's different. It's interesting because today we are talking about my real life. Real life. Um, being a wife of a British soldier. How is life? How is life? How is life like? And thank you so much for joining me. And since I can see we are three of us so far, so I'm just going to crack on. And if you have any question or experience, please go ahead. That's why we have the comment section so that we can know if what you're up to, if you have your experience is the same as me, or what is your experience about the whole thing. So if you don't know, I'm a mom of three. I'm a mom of two girls and a boy, and I am married to a British soldier. And I'm going to give you like it is advantages and disadvantages of being a British soldier. And we will start with one. So I've been married for more than a decade now. Yes, more than a decade. But I can say that if I really, really check the amount of time we've been together in this house, probably it's half of that time. Yes. Yeah. Because there is a lot of things that goes on. Yeah. I myself, I have it witnessed to with not really. I'm not sure the right word to do to use, but I've done three, I would say two tours, and those are Afghanistan tours, and not me doing them, but it feels like I'm the one doing them because the moment you're left to run everything else in the house and someone goes like for 6 months, 9 months, then you feel like you're doing the tour yourself. So I would say the amount of time consumed, like when you're apart, it's massive. And that's why I said, as much as I've been married for more than a decade, probably we've been together half of that time. Yeah. So that is one thing. If you're planning, or if your fiance or someone is a soldier or a marine or something, just know what you're going to get yourself into. Yeah. Another thing I would say, so that's the time apart. Another thing I would say is being a British, not necessarily a British soldier, but being a soldier's wife, you have to be independent. You have to be very, very independent because remember that person leaves and they can go up to 9 months and you have to run everything. Everything that includes children. If you have a job, your job, in addition, you have to carry out their tasks. Yeah, because if there are things that they do, then you still have to carry on and support them, because most of the times when they go away, you find that their communication is not as good. Yeah, because their communication is limited. So, example, let's say they just withdrawn. Hi, Agnes. Thank you, gal. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate. Yeah. So to mention that when they go, maybe it's a place that is a risky, it's very risky, so their communication is limited. So that means you have to be the one doing what they normally do here. Yeah, so you have a task for, you're carrying a task for and responsibility for so many people. So one thing, you have to be very, very independent. You have to be very, very responsible, you know, because you have to be able to know how you or your children, remember, because you're the main carer at that particular time. So if you're called, your child is ill in school, you are the main first contact, because by the time they leave, you've been told to, you've given that information that they're not around, so you're the first main contact. So you will have to take care of sick children, which I've gone through one child who is not sick, and one child is sick and I have to take them in the hospital. So those are the things that you have to go through. Yeah, you have to plan ahead, you have to plan things. Yeah. And you have to have someone that you have to be confident by yourself, because one thing you have to know is you will be having to deal with situations that probably your husband should be dealing with, but you have to stand out for yourself or your family. Yeah. Another thing I would like to say is if you ask me, for example, I would like to say, like now, the next 1 week and a half, there will be not summer, there'll be a half term. Yeah, I'm working, he's working. We're here asking, so I'm here asking, will you be having some any of the leave? Will you have some leave during that week? Because children will close school for 10 days. 10 days. But because of the nature of his job, unless it's confirmed, we can never plan anything. Yeah. So you will find most of the time, even if we plan a holiday or we plan something, we plan probably me and the children. We'll plan me and the children. And if it happens he's around, then that's when we include him in the package. So even if you invite me, if you say, in next month, are you able to come a certain Saturday, blah, 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 I'll only talk about me. And I do get this a lot. People are like, are you single? No, I'm not single. But with time, I've come to learn to live as an independent individual. And then when they're there, because it's not their fault, their contract states there they can be called anytime. You can be with them in the house having a good time, and they are told 6 hours to be in camp. They do not have power over that. That's what they signed for. So that's why you will ask, are you guys as a family able to come to this? And I will be like, I'm sure I will be able to come, because I can take off for myself on that day and the kids. But for him, it's always a bonus. Like, it's something we really, really appreciate, because it's always a bonus to have him. Yeah. So we never plan for holidays as a family. We just pray that that day will come and we are all in the same country. That's it. Another thing I would like to say is we move. Yeah. If you've been following me, you do know that I've lived in Germany. Actually, I've lived in Germany longer than I've lived in UK. And that's because of his nature of his job. Yeah. So if you're planning to be married, or if you are married for a soldier, of course, you do know this happens. Their life determines your life. Yes. Yeah, they determine where you live, for how long, and so on and so forth. So your spouse, because this can be either way depending on who is actually in the army, either it's the man or the woman. So what happens is you you might go and like a place. You might go and find a very good job. You are doing well and blah, blah, blah. But your husband posting or your wife posting is only 2 years. So you know what happens after 2 years? You go to another country or another new town. So there is always one person that has to really, really give. It looks like they give more, but actually both of you are giving more or less the same. But one person's career always is left behind a little bit. So that's something that you have to know. Yeah, because when you move from a country, like when I moved from Germany to Kenya, I did not bring my job with me. He came with his job. Yeah, and immediately we moved back in UK. He continued with his job. For me, I started looking for a job. Yeah. And what happens is you even move house. You can move house alone. Yeah. Yeah. For example, I've moved myself. Yeah. The house that we were given a house after he had left for a 6 months tour. By that time, I had 2 children, but the youngest had just turned 1. So you can imagine how stressful it was. Yeah. So, guys, if you have a question, I don't mind answering any question. And, and if you have any experience, I don't mind at all sharing it with us. I don't mind. So you remember when I said about one career delays a little bit. Yeah. What happens? That really affects some people, or that really affects some army spouses, unfortunately. You lose your identity. Yeah. So you will find you meet with some unfortunately you meet with some people and you ask them, oh, so how are you, what do you do? And they say, oh, my husband is a sergeant, or my husband is with the Marine or British Army. They've lost their identity. Yeah. So it's very, very important you don't lose yourself. I do understand the nature of the job does really dominate. Yeah. But it's good you don't lose yourself, because you are not the one in the military. They are. So find something that really stands out about yourself. Yeah. You can say, yes, I'm Tesh and I'm a volunteer in this and this and this, or I'm Tesh and I work in childcare, blah, blah, blah. Or, you talk about yourself. Have something about you. Yeah, because at the end of the day, even if they're sergeants, majors, I don't know what, that is them. Who are you? Who are you as yourself? So yeah, it does make people lose identity, but it's important. Try your harder to still maintain your identity. Hey, Oliver. Hello, Teshua Jogosh. Please show me the pathway of how I can join the British Army. The Kenyan Army is tough to join. Oliver, we will wait we will wait and see if ways will open, because what happened, there is a time they used to recruit to recruit like those time, like when I'm saying like a decade ago or so, they used to recruit actually like in Commonwealth countries, and that's how you find most of the Commonwealth countries people join the British Army. But with time, and I can remember I was still in Germany, it came to a point that they had to reduce the number of the army in the of the British Army, and they actually offered people redundancy. Yeah, so if you wanted to come out, they will pay you out so that you can come out. So most people came out. But again, like a year, 2 years ago, they reintroduced the Commonwealth thing. But unfortunately, they've put it to be they've they've changed it to if you have lived in the UK for 5 years. Yeah. So which you find that it's tricky because um why would you, unless a soldier being an army is in you, why would you join the army after living here after 5 years, you know, in the UK? But if it's really is your passion, we can, you never know. Like just like the way skilled workers labor came up and blah blah blah, you just can never know. Maybe something will come up and they will reintroduce the recruitment again in the Commonwealth countries. Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I said, you have to have your identity. Don't lose your identity. Also, in addition, I would say there's great advantages. There is great advantages being they call us dependents. Yes. If your wife or your husband is in the army, your children and your spouse are your dependents. That's the name. So if you're a dependent of a soldier, then there is advantages like, when they move to a certain country, you move with them. So you are able to gain that experience. You're able to get that experience. Even if you're posted for 2 years or 3 years, you will go to that country. Some people are lucky their spouses get posted like in Italy, Spain, and so on. So if you're posted there, then you see, like, you have those 2 years or 3 years to enjoy without using a lot of resources or money. Because if you're posted in Italy, for example, the country you're posted in, remember, you're given a house, you're accommodated, your spouse goes and continues their job there as you look for your job. So nothing is stopping for your spouse. So it's not like you're losing any money. Actually, when they work abroad, which abroad will be like, because Britain, UK is their country of employment. But if they work abroad, it can even be Kenya. There is soldiers that work in Kenya, the British Army. Then they earn more because they're considered not to be working at home. Yeah. So you have those experiences. You can be in Spain. I lived in Germany. I'm in UK. I do not know my next spot where I will be. So it gives you that good feeling of exploring. Another thing is, you see, like when they're deployed to other countries, you find that every unit has a welfare. Every unit has a welfare, and they plan activities for you people that have been left behind. Yeah. So you find, like, if it was a day out, like for me with a family, with 3 children, maybe that day out would have costed me 150 pounds, but you find that the army will give you the ticket for free. So they plan activities for the families that have left behind. So those are the things that you can enjoy. Another thing that is beneficial is that you do not pay the full amount of rent like the other people. Yeah. So the army does pay an amount. Yeah. So you do not pay the full amount. So you will find, like, the people that are out there in the streets, they pay like 4 times as much as from what you are paying. So that's also is an added advantage of being in the army. So army does have some good, yeah, it has some good advantages, but it also have some real life sacrifices that you have to sacrifice as a family. You have to sacrifice a life being away, like for 9 months away from your family, knowing probably your wife you leave your wife pregnant and come back and find a child. Yes. Or you are told someone passed on, like back home, I would say like back home in Kenya, and you are not able to attend their send off because you are far away, and you know there's something that there's people that are close to you. So you so if so that I don't scare you away. If the person is your wife or your husband, your child, or your parents or your siblings, then it's you can go back home. Yeah, you'll be brought. If you're in Afghanistan, Iraq, or whatever country you are, they'll bring you home. But if someone is a bit further from that, then you will find they will not be able to bring you back home to go see them if they're sick and so on, because a lot of paperwork are needed. A lot of paperwork are needed to prove that, yes, your mom or your dad or your sibling is in hospital or is no longer there, or the person is end of life, so that they need to bring you back home. Oliver, how do you deal with Habi when sometimes he's fighting post-traumatic stress or even anxiety? So, Oliver, you will find what happens is, thank God I haven't got to deal with that. But what happens is when they go for a very long time, before they come back, we the ones that were left at home, we undergo a lot of sessions, a lot of preparations to make us to make up to make us ready for them coming back home. Yeah, so the welfare will organize nights or days that we go in, we talk, and we understand that we have changed. Yeah, we have changed. The last 9 months, I'm the one who's been washing and cleaning my car. I'm the one who has been having sleepless nights, and because one child is sick, the other one, I don't know, like, so I'm the one who has created my small cocoon that will enable me to survive, to like I've been in survival mode. Yeah, so you find that if it was two of us, probably we'll leave children to 9 to sleep, but because I'm alone, then by 7:30 it's go to bed. Yeah, so what happens, the welfare makes you realize that, yes, you've been putting the children to 7:30, but when he comes back, he might want to spend more time with the children. So don't go mad, don't overreact because of the things they might do. So even for them, they are cancelled, and they're told, when you go back home, you will find a woman that you didn't know. A woman who's no longer telling you to go and why don't you go and take my car for MOT. MOT is to check if the car is good to be on the road after a whole year. Why don't you do this for me? You will find a woman who is more independent, and you might feel left out. Yeah, so they are prepared psychologically of what they might find at home. So when they come and we meet at home, so what happens is we already have an idea of, it takes time. It takes time to come. You can't just come like at once. It takes a little bit time, but because you're prepared, then you get on, you are able to get on with life. Again, the welfare keeps on reminding people that there is help. Help is very, very very available here. Mostly anything to do with mental illness is very, very available. So if you happen that you see your spouse is showing some things that you know they're not normal, then you need to contact them immediately. Hannah Mwangi, hello, hello, hello. How did you made it there? Enlighten us. Hannah, for me, I came to join my husband. I came to join my husband, and that's why I'm here. But that is more than a decade ago. That's how I came. Yeah, so it was like a family reunion. Yes. Yeah. I hope I have answered that question. Thank you so much. I can see you guys are liking the video. Thank you so much. If you have any more questions, keep asking questions as we go about the advantages and disadvantages of being an army dependent or an army wife. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you know, I've seen some people that have moved more than 20 houses. Depending on how long you've been in the army, people can move houses. Can you imagine if your posting is 2 years? Yeah. So you are here, you are here this year. Which month are we in? If you moved here this year, that means we are 2021, 2022, 2023, you'll be planning to go to the next house and to the next place and even the next country. Yeah. So you have to be someone that is very patient with life, because you know the 2 years is what takes you to start settling settling in a place. So you can imagine the moment you're starting to settle in your job, it's the next posting has come. So you have to deal with that. Yeah. Oliver, I wish you could start a group whereby you can have a talk with ladies who are married to soldiers. Oh, I would. Do you know something? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind at all. I wouldn't mind at all, Oliver. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. So I would say, I had an experience. I had an experience last year. So last year, September, yes, yeah, I was pregnant, and last year, there was Canada. Yeah, there was supposed to go to Canada. But the time that the guys were supposed to go to Canada for a deployment of 3 months, that's when there was the pandemic, the first what was it called? The first lockdown in March. That's when they were supposed to go to Canada for 3 months, which will bring them until June. And then after June, they'll only come back home for a month and then go for exercise around for a month and then come back home, pack, and go to Russia. So what happens is the first one is cancelled because of lockdown. No one understands what is happening with this thing that was happening. So it's cancelled. But what stuck is they came with another tour, which was in September. So around September, I was 6 months. I was around 6 months pregnant. I was due in November. So I'm left alone, 6 months pregnant, working mom with 2 children with 2 school-going children, with a pandemic. Yeah. And all you can hear, they can tell you is how it's spreading wherever they are. And that time is when you can hear, it's when every country is closing their borders. So luckily, when I was very early in pregnancy, before they deployed, he told the boss, and the boss was like, I will try and bring you back home. So we lived by hope. We lived by hope. Yes. So he went, and just before he left, that's when Kenya international flights opened. Remember, where it was 15th of August last year. That's when the flights could go in and out, the international flights in Kenya. So luckily, my mom was able to come. So as he left, my mom came in. But it was hard. It was a tough pregnancy. It was a tough season. But you soldier on like the soldier who has left you, because psychologically they are tortured. Yeah. You've been told by the doctor, you can't lift this, you can't lift this. But as much as I have my mom, because she can't drive here, then that means I'm still the one who will go shopping. I'm still the one who will have to carry on with some tasks. Yeah. Anyway, time came and almost my due date, and now it's time to remind the boss. You said that you will take me back home closer to time. And thankfully, the boss was very understanding, and they brought him back home 1 week to my due date. So he came 1 week to my due date, and the baby did not come. So we are remaining with 1 week. So the 1 week, the 1 week to the due date, the baby did not come around that time. So you know what this guy did? I remember the baby was due on the 22nd, was supposed to be due on the 23rd of November. On the 21st, there is a word that is called beasting. I was taken for a 13 miles walk. You know, by the time I was coming home, I was walking 13 miles. Yeah, that was the 21st. Because in him, he could not believe that he won't have any more time with the baby. Because you see, when probably tomorrow he's leaving and the baby comes 2 days before he leaves, he will still continue and go back. Yes. Yeah, unless there is a big complication and the doctor writes there is a complication, blah, 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 that's when he will cancel they can cancel him not going at that time. So anyway, I was taken for the long walk, came, and the baby, that was the 21st, baby came on the 22nd, due date was on the 23rd. And we were happy because he stayed with the baby for that week, only 1 week, and then he left to finish his tour. He left baby 1 week old, and he came back in April. Baby was 4 months, 1 week. So that was another, now they have to learn to create a relationship. Those are other factors that you will see that you have to go through, because that baby is like, who the hell is this? Okay, let me see. Oliver, how do you deal with her? I've read that. I wish you, Kenyan army dependents are passing through a lot, but they are just silent. I would say, Oliver, it's being a dependent of the army is not for the faint-hearted. Mostly, even if you don't, one, psychologically, if they're not at home, psychologically, emotionally, it can drain you. But I would say the advantage of people that work out, considered to back home, is the fact that there's help. Help is out there. Yeah. Even if it came to a point, yeah, you see, like the way I was heavily pregnant and he's gone. If it came to the worst, yeah, and there is a number you call, a specific number you call, and that number will take your details. And even if your husband is underneath the tunnel, they will get him. But for you to call that number and give all those information, it has to be very, very serious. Because I remember I did use that number, and I think my friend might be watching this. I know she remembers that, and that was in Germany. I was left. By then it was my first child, and I was due in 3 days, and I kept feeling like I'm fainting. Yeah, I could feel the fainting, that faint feeling, and I was home alone. So I got really scared, and I didn't know if that happens to me, knowing that, like your friend might be I have friends here, but my closest friends is like 3 minutes walk. If I tell you the last minute I saw her, I don't know. But like yesterday, we spoke like for an hour or so. But because of the distance, they might not know what is happening to me. So I had to use that number. I used that number, and they fetched him because where he was, there was no network, there was no internet, there was nothing. So when I used that number, they reached him, and immediately he was told to contact me. He contacted me. I told him what was happening, and in the next, I think it was in the next 12 hours, he was at home. So there is help. That's the good thing about here. There is help out, but you have to have like a very, very good reason why you are pulling someone out from a tour or a deployment. Kimmy and Kenny channel. Hi, host. Loving the show. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate. Yep. And I would say that it does give you a purpose in life. I've seen a lot of army wives that have become very creative with talents they never knew they had. Yeah, because let's say you have like me, it's just, I don't know, I just try to push, but there are people who can't push with 3 children. Yeah, they will be like, let me wait for the little one to be like 3 years until they start nursery, then I can go out there and start life again. So you find, I've seen women that have come up with, I don't know, they're called scents and what, and they create pages, and they invite us to go and smell the candles and the perfumes and blah blah blah, and they sell them. Yeah, they advertise them, they sell them. So they work from home. Some of them have learned how to make things with their own hands, and those can be, even some of them make like, the cute children, something to put on the hair for the little girls, and some of them even put names on our children uniforms. Yes, the cardigans and so on. So you find that ladies have become independent, they have become strong, they have learned to use some of the talents they never knew they had. Because most of the time you find, like for me, as much as I say I work, yes, I work, but I've never been employed permanently. I do not do permanent jobs. The reason why I do not do permanent jobs, it's because when you work permanently, then I expect you, Oliver, to be at work tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's what the contract says, yeah? But for me, I work as, when you work with agencies, you choose. I'm the boss. I choose. I can work Wednesday and Friday and Sunday. Yeah. But when you take a contract, your boss dictates when they want you to come. But what if I take a contract and sometimes they call you from work, like your partner will call you from work and they say, oh, they've just said that tonight we are not coming. So what happens if you're supposed to do that night shift? You will inconvenience the people at work. Yeah, so that's another thing, that as army wife, I do not take contracts. And that's just being me. I don't want to take a contract and then my child says I'm called at school to get them from school, and probably my husband is somewhere in Russia or Estonia or Italy, then I have to call work and start canceling. You see? So yeah, being flexible. For me, being flexible is key because of the family. Loving the Oliver, you experience scissors. Hey, that word. That word really makes me scissors. Maybe it was because of the pregnancy. Yes, it was because of the pregnancy, and I was coming towards the end. You can see it was 3 days to my due date, and I was home alone. Yeah. Hey, this is what a very nice blog post under parental healthcare niche. That's true. That's true. This it's true. Yeah, so you really have to toughen up. So there is a word that is it's called man up. I believe there there is no soldier wife that is weakly. They are strong, very strong, because the things they have to live with, oh my God. Sometimes you ask me, I'm here thinking of what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm just thinking of my timings tomorrow. And I'm just like, if he's able to pick them from school earlier, that's okay. Like, for me, him being able to do something is a blessing. And if you understand the nature of their job, you should be their consolement department. Yeah, their job can be jobs are depressing, jobs can be stressful. But if you understand the nature of your spouse, then you'll be in a position to understand what they have gone through. Because for me, if I sit here and I see what they are packing in their bag, and I know, tomorrow someone is being beasted, they pack. You can imagine if you're carrying 25 kilos to 30 kilos on your back. On top of that, you have what is it called? The bulletproof thing. It's weighted. It's weight, it's weighted. And on top of that, you have a bag, and you have the helmet. Those are kilos. And you are going to be beasted. So if I see that is the packing that is going on here, me tomorrow, I'll just be here looking at him. You don't want to, because you know what kind of a day they had. So it's important what do they do. As much as they're in the army, every army has a department. Every army, your spouse or your partner can be in the army, but they are chief. Yes, they are chief. They go through the same exercise and everything, but at the end, they're chief. Some of them are logistics, others are mortars. So they're the ones that in fight they put those things and they lipuka. So it's important, because being in the army is very broad. So it's important to know what they're dealing with. So if your husband or your wife is a clerk in the army, everyone was in their case asking for paperwork. Yeah. If your husband is on logistic transport and blah, 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 and people are deploying, please give that person some space. They're stressed up. Mostly like now there are people going to Germany. Some of them are going to very different places. You find that they get the test. People have to be tested now before they travel. So some of the tests come positive, some of the tests come inconclusive. So you can imagine if you had booked flights for those people and the tests have come negative. Now those people are not going, but you have people that needs to go. Like, you have to keep updating the system about how people are going to go, and then how they are going to be picked from that airport in the different country. So if you understand the nature of your, it's important. All our jobs are difficult, but some of them are mentally, draining. Kimmy and Candy, thumbs up, girl, doing a good job. As being a mommy gives us so much responsibility, but very enjoyable and colorful life stages. That is very true. That is very true. Being a mom is one reason. I wouldn't say even my career, but being a mom is one reason that I can say I'm not ready, and I'm not going to be employed permanently anytime soon. Let me be flexible. Because at the end of the day, your children comes first. They don't stay the same. Yeah, they grow very fast. And remember, knowing the nature, knowing how your family setting is important. My family, I know I need one person who is constant. And that person who is constant is me. Yeah. Their dad does their best. When he's here, he will do the best to try and catch up. And that's why you'll find sometimes you'll even get mad, because some of the things they're doing, of course, is the things that you say no. But because they want to catch up or match up to the days or the months they're never at home, so you find that they're really fighting hard to get the attention of their children. But one thing for me that is important and has to remain constant is me being present. Me knowing that I will wake up and I'm the one going to take my children to school in the morning. But if my husband comes and says, oh, it seems tomorrow we are starting at 9, I can drop the children. Well, that says I can sleep half an hour longer or something, So I take those things, with some passion, and, you're happy that they'll be taken. But in my mind, I've already planned that I'm the one taking them. I've planned that I'm the one going to, I should be home. That one is not right. Yes, someone will pick them from school. They'll be picked from school by the childminder, because I'll be in lectures 1 hour away. But if their dad comes from work early, I know he will call me and say, I'm going to pick the children because I've finished. But you don't want to put them in a position that they have to keep wondering or keep asking for permission from their bosses that they can go pick the children if it's not necessary. Yeah, one of you has to give, depending on who is not in the forces. One of you has to give, something has to give for life to go on. Oliver, you're talking of careers in the army, that is professional, and this reminds me of a classmate of me. He's a medic in the army. Yes, and Oliver, yes, that's why I said it is important to know what your spouse is doing, because yes, like you said, a medic, some of them are in the army and they're nurses. Some of them are majors, but they're doctors. Yeah, some of them are artilleries. So it's very broad. Yeah, so you can be in the army, and what do? You are PT. What you are a physical trainer. Yes, you are in the army, but you're a physical trainer. You're the one who beasts them in the morning for exercises and in the evening. That's the job you do. So it's very, very broad, and army is a good career, because it gives you all. You can be in the army and still be a doctor. You can be in the army and be a nurse. You can be in the army and be a chef. And remember, you come out with a lot of trainings if you're in the army, because they train you a lot. Yeah, because they want you to be. That's why you hear when the pandemic started, they were called to go and do tests. They went to do people tests. Yeah, they have been trained to give people jabs. When there was a problem with the fuel, they said the soldiers will go and assist, because there's no enough HGV drivers. So they make sure that, the soldiers, they've given them a lot of, trainings, qualification, to be able, anything that happens, they're able to tackle. And another thing, you have to have a calendar. Yeah, so there are those things that come up. There are those, you see, like fuel, you see, like pandemic. So what happens, there is a name they call, some of the name I wouldn't mention just for some reason, but they are names. So what it means, your unit or your partner's unit, for 3 months, they will be the ones responding for any emergency that happens in the country. So if it happens that the way we had fuel issues, if it happens that there is when it overrains, when it happens that probably there has been a lightning and something has happened, so they're the one to respond. And do you know how long they're given? When something happens, they start to be warned. So this unit, you have 6 hours to 6 hours to respond. You have 2 hours to respond, like that. So if it happens, you just see a text. Psh. So what they tell you is to pack. So you just know you've packed, everything is ready. So when you see the text, in 5 minutes, 4 minutes, depending where your camp is, you're in camp. The next minute, you're gone to rescue, to be the rescuer. So those are the things that we do not know, but they, like, we don't plan for them, but they happen. And that's why you should always plan yourself as the person that is flexible. You should always know in your mind that anything can happen. But again, there are those things that we know. So your partner will give you the calendar of events for the whole year. So it will show you, January, it's Germany for 6 weeks. Come, be in camp for this and this time. So it breaks down for you. So at least next year you know how many countries they are going, and probably you see in 12 months, this man will be at home for 5.5 months. You're like, okay. And then you check, oh, will he be? You see, okay, he'll only be at home for one birthday, for one child birthday. He won't be at home for your anniversary. He won't be at home for everything else. He won't be at home for Christmas. So psychologically, you get prepared. Yeah, but again, you have to be prepared, like I said, to be not to, probably he won't be home. Probably he'll only be home for a month or two next year. Because if it happens like now, there are people doing, say, the tests. So they're in another like from where I live, they're in another town doing tests. There's some people doing certain things. So you have to be ready for those things that come up and they're not planned for. Agnes, you should watch the series Army Wives. Yes, I will watch that. I will watch that. Is it Netflix? I'm sure it's very interesting. But again, I would like to say what we've done is we've learned. I think we have more fun. Oh my God, we have more fun when they're gone, because when they're around, they're around. Yeah. But when they are gone, because I think you guys want to see days flying, we have fun. And how do we have our fun? So one, like I said, the welfare will try and so much to be planning activities for you guys. So if you are a person that never, like for me, I never go to the welfare. I rarely go to the welfare unless I really need something. That's when I go there. But I rarely go there. But if he's not around and they offer us like the tickets to go, I don't know, Harry Potter or Peppa Pig, I don't know what, I take those tickets and I'll be taking my children. Or if you want, you can use the welfare transport. Another thing we do, the ladies that we've been left, we plan our own. We plan our own activities. Yeah. So we do our own barbecues, like we would say every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. We plan our own like, oh, you Tesh, you'll come with chapati, someone else will bring pilau, someone else will bring mokimo. We meet, my friend, because we are mothers, we will meet with our children. We don't need any childcare in one house. We have fun. Yeah. And by that, because you learn to live with your own. Yeah. So for me, I can say like this situation brings me to live with my own, because if I expressed myself to someone that they're not going through what I'm going through, they will not understand. Yeah. But at that particular time, I'm very keen on the people I tag along with. So I will tag along with the person that their husband is not around also. Their husband has gone for deployment. Yeah. So we'll have those girl nights and so on and so forth. And before we know, and we'll still work. And at that point, we are really, really supportive. We are really supportive. Like, the boys, we call them boys. The boys that have been left are very supportive to to the the families that have been left. Like for me, I would say there's a family that was very, very, very supportive to me. You see that period that he was away, and I'm still postpartum. Yeah, postpartum. They really supported me through. If I wanted to go for appointment, the lady would be like, if you need, because that time, remember, the children went on lockdown to 4th of January. My mom left on Boxing Day. On Boxing Day, I was left. The baby was 6 weeks, so I was home alone. So the children opened school on the 4th of January. And the same day, we went back on lockdown. If you live in UK, you remember. So, of course, you need support because you have a 6 weeks old. You have 2 children that are going to school, but their learning is online. So you're having a sleepless night and then waking up to teach these children that are at home. Because again, they did keep sending. They did keep sending letters. Like, if they saw that you're not uploading your children work, they will even pay you a visit. And like I keep saying here, children are very, very, children are good, but they can bring you issues and problems and safeguarding. So you had to have a very good reason why you're not uploading work. Yeah. I had a good reason to get them to, because a few children, if you had a good reason, your child could still go to school. But for me, I weighed my option. Which is easier for me? To be waking up and taking the girls to school, to put it on a ground that I'm 6 weeks postpartum, I'm not sleeping, I cannot teach them. Or me to have my sleep through until around 11 or midday, and then wake up and we start learning. For me, waking up around 11 midday and then we start learning for the next 5 hours or so, that was the easiest option for me. So I had to keep up with it. So yes, that lockdown, I've done homeschooling with a 6-week baby alone. And yeah, of course, sometimes you need, thank God they started, you could buy online home stuff and they'll be delivered. But sometimes they'll deliver a bread that is expiring the same day. So again, you needed someone probably who can do the shopping for you. And I thank people. I thank the men that were left behind, the soldiers that were left behind, and were playing a big role to the people that were, the ladies that were alone, and they could go do something for you. And and also, I think the same time I had an issue with the car, and some family came and assisted me with the car, and that's how we live. So the boys or the soldiers that are left behind, most of the time they're they play a very big role, because you help me today, because tomorrow you are the one who will be away for a year, and my husband will be helping your wife. That's how it works. So they play a very big role. Yeah. Jennifer Tesh, you're doing a great job enlightening people for free. Thank you, girl. Thank you so much. Knowledge is power. Oliver, so they must be always be alert, like a paramedic, always around and fit for disaster management. Yes. Everything that like, when I think probably 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks, yeah, 3-4 weeks, when the fuel thing started, I remember I saw my partner packing, and it's basically because they were told on Friday you guys could be going away. Yeah. So they pack and they are ready. So you just find, what can I say? Our storage is everything soldierish. So he just goes there, pack his stuff, and he's ready to go. So when he sees a text or anything, he just tells you guys, I'm gone. Sometimes it's now I would say, I don't know if it's hard or it's easy or hard. It's easy or hard. But I would say when the first 3 months of marriage, it was kind of easy-ish. I didn't have children, and when he leaves, I'll just put myself into work. I will work and work and work. And then by the time it comes weekend, I'm tired. And probably I'll use my weekend to clean up, shopping. And I had, that time I was in Germany, I had some lovely friends in Germany. And some of them will be like, oh, Tesh, come this weekend for just for some fun, because I was home alone. Can you imagine the first 3 months, the first 3 years, I was alone. The times that I was left, I'll be alone. And in those 3 years, the first one I was left was I think I was a few months old in Germany, and then he went to Afghanistan for 7 months. Yeah, so I had to just put myself at work. Then, of course, I met some lovely friends. They were not in the army, but they understood. They understood what I was going through, and they took me through it. We would meet, we would have fun, and I will forget that I'm home alone. I'll just go home and sleep. If it was a Saturday, we met. Sunday, it's clean up. Monday, I'm back to work. And before I knew it, time is gone and the boys are coming back. When I had a baby, when I had my first child, that's when I went to back. My maternity leave finished. The time I went back to work, the month I went back to work is the same month they were deployed again in Afghanistan. My friends, it was not easy. So because that's the first time I'm being left with someone else to look after. And of course, I did struggle. My baby wasn't sleeping. I was a full-time worker. What they call full-time is like 38 hours a week. That's full-time here. So I had a child who I had to settle in nursery. She was 8 months by then when I was going back to work. And I was still trying to settle back to work. So my daughter would cry. I think she felt that separation when dad left. She would cry through the night, so I wouldn't sleep. 2 weeks down after I went back to work, my daughter is not settling. I took a phone, and I remember I called my mom and I said, if you don't come here, I'm coming back to Kenya. I'll never be. That was the first time my mom came to Europe. Yeah. I told her, it's either you're coming here or me. I'm leaving this job and I'm coming with my baby back home, because she's not sleeping at night. So that's making me not sleep. And I'm going back to work, and I've gone back to work. So both of us are stressed up. Thank God, within a few weeks, because Germany, if you have the right paperwork, then it's not that difficult to invite someone. So thankfully, my mom came. Yeah, so you can imagine that is 4 weeks down the line after going back to work. That's when I realized that it was a bit hard. I needed some more help. And please, women, please speak up if you need help, because I know myself as a strong woman, but there's always something that can shake you a little bit. And for me, what shook me a little bit is the fact that I've never experienced having a child. So having a child, having to keep up with my going back to work, then that was something. It was difficult. Yeah. So the first Afghanistan, I was okay. This one, no, I'm not coping. Mommy, come, I need help. So yeah, my mom came. So she stayed with us for 2 months, and she was very helpful, because what my mom could do, was sleeping with my baby so that I can get good sleep. And then in the morning, I get myself ready. My mom will get my daughter ready. I'll take my daughter. We go to nursery, because I used to work in the nursery. So my daughter will go to the same nursery as me, although not the same age group. So I used to work in the different age groups so that she doesn't see me. And we settled. So my mom would catch up with her sleep during the day when me and my daughter were at work and in nursery. And yeah, so please, ladies, if you need help, always remember to ask for help. It doesn't mean you're weak. It just means at that particular time you need some help. And remember this postpartum depression. Yeah, and if you can never know, like, when you're living alone, you might not know. If my husband was there, maybe they would tell you're struggling, but he's not there at that particular moment. So know your limit. So when you're struggling, you can at least ask for help. Yeah, and got the second one, of course, and I got used to it. Now. I came with my 2 children in the UK. And after 6 months moving from Germany, to the UK, 6 months later, my husband was deployed for 7.5 months in Estonia. Now I have 2 children. I have to start, because when we moved, my baby was 2.5 months, the second one. So really, I was on maternity leave. But now he's gone, almost the same time my maternity leave is over. And I'm trying now to go back to my career. So you are trying to find your career and you are alone again. So it's all about fighting. It's all about asking for help, because he left the same time he left, I had a big issue with where I was living. And that is because the flat was moldy, the flat was unsafe, and blah, blah, blah. So I had to move. And that's when I said at the start of this video, I had to move myself. Yes. Yes, we did pay for, we moved 2 miles from where, guys, if you're following me, I will get a video of where I used to live. So I only moved 2 miles from where I used to live to down here. But we paid for transport. But yes, you pay for transport, but those people, and we paid for them to join the big furnitures, yeah, like the beds, the sofas. But what was a lot is the cartons. The cartons was a lot. So what happened is, by the end of the day, because it was a 1-day move, so they pack everything from the flat up there, and then they bring them to where now I'm moving. One of my friend had taken my older child from school. So I was only dealing with the 1-year-old, so that I can see what these movers are doing. So they moved everything where it's supposed to be moved, because it's written kitchen, bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, bathroom. When it came to around after 6 in the evening, they were tired. I was tired. Do you know what they did? So I sat, my daughter was brought to me, the older one. So the 2 children were here and I'm alone. So I sat here with the children. The movers, they fixed everything in the kitchen, because they couldn't bring them in the living room, because I can tell this doesn't belong here. So they fixed everything in the kitchen. And they said, "Mom, we are done." And they left. Hey, I went to the kitchen. I could not even go inside, because the boxes were up inje. I got stressed. I came back down here and I sat down. I just knew this is McDonald's. Yeah. So I drove, got McDonald's for my children, and we came and we sat here. So you can imagine that time, your partner knows what is going on. He is stressed. He's in another country. He's stressed. There's nothing he can do about it. And if you have a good man, you know how, even a man that cares, they always want things to work a certain way. So of course he knew One, we don't have internet at that particular time. Two, the children are asking where the television is because I cannot even connect the television. Thank God, because God uses people. One lady, she doesn't live, she never used to live far, came in and she was like, I just thought, because we hadn't known each other for a long time, I just thought I'd come and see how you're doing. So she came in and she went to the kitchen, looked at the kitchen, and she said, you know what? As a mom, you cannot sit down while the kitchen is like this. You don't even know where the cereals are, the breakfast things. So she said, you have to stand up. And those are the kind of people we need. Because for me, for that day, I had come to an end. And she started pushing the boxes, and finally we got the breakfast stuff. And she said, now you know, even if your children cries, you have something. We opened that box, and the kettle, you know, the boiling water kettle, she put them there. And I thank that woman. She doesn't know what she did, but I needed that. I needed that push a little bit. Anyway, so the next day was now opening. Remember, when you move, that house had a day that I needed to give it back to the owners. So when I take my daughter to school, the older one, I will go to the old house and clean. And if you live in the UK, you know the match out cleaning we do. You clean the windows, you clean the oven, you clean everything. So I was going there, cleaning up, spend the day cleaning, and I have my little one. And then come when I pick my older daughter from school, we come now to the new house and I start unpacking. So I looked at the things that I cannot do. And of course, I hired a handyman. And a handyman was like 15 pounds an hour. So the man would fix what I cannot. And mostly it's the like the wall things. But unfortunately, you know a handyman, you know a handyman can take time. You know, si unajua kukula vako, kukula njaro, because it's an hour. So wanaweza ka kitu moja moja, they put one thing pole pole. So I had to, my Kenyan in me, I had to keep pushing him and saying, no, this one you should have done by the last 1 hour. Nini, nini. By 1 week, and of course, something like the wiring, the TV, my husband sent the boys, and that's why I said the boys that remains, they are very helpful. Sent the boys here, and the boys put the electronics together. Yeah. So by 1 week, my house looked like I had been living here. I was even able to host my child's first year's birthday here. But if you looked at me, I never knew stress can make you crack your lips until they're bleeding, because I wasn't eating. All I was thinking is cleaning the old house to hand it over and opening the boxes and putting everything away. I finished. Home looked good. Me and the girls, my little girls, we settled. But I had to start working. My maternity leave is over. Again, what did I do? Mommy, if you don't come here, me, I'm coming back to Kenya. I'm taking my babies and leave this place. And God bless my mom. She left everything she was doing and she came, and she supported me. She took me through the whole deployment until my husband came, and then she went back home. So guys, that is basically my life. It's my life as an army wife. I know I have to be strong, but also I know when I really need help. Needing help doesn't mean you're weak. Yeah. Because it just sometimes you need that person that can push you. And remember what I said having your identity is important. And if you look at the whole picture, I'm not asking for help because I cannot do it. Yeah. If I was basically staying at home, just at home, I'll be able to look after. I'll be able to look after the children. But the reason why there's always need for that help, it's because there is my identity. Yeah. The best carer for your child is you as a mom. The best carer. There is a lot of caring. There is nurseries, there's child minders, there is so many things. But the best carer is you. But when that journey comes to an end, the maternity leave is over, I think it's time for you to also pick up from where you left, if possible. And, and it's the best time now to, you can start dishing your baby to childcare, to daycare, to childminders. Because if all I'm thinking right now is it's about children, that will drive you crazy. But if I'm thinking about, yes, tomorrow they'll go to school, I'll take the small one to the childminder, and then I'm going to my lectures, and then so and so forth and so forth, because I have something I'm doing for myself, then that keeps you going. Yeah. You don't have to be employed. Like I said, I've seen soldier wives that they are PT, they are physical trainers. Yeah. So they create this group, and then you pay for a class, you pay, I think, £1 or £2. And they make it so fun. You go with your child in the buggy, in the pushchair, you go jump with them and do your exercise. You see, they're earning. They've found their passion, they can do the physical training, and they're doing it. And mostly it's probably early in the morning they're doing it, or late in the evening they're doing it. I've seen those the ones that do tailor jobs, because hey, in Kenya you find tailors everywhere. Here, a tailor seems stress. Hey, let me tell you, you go with appointments. Yeah. And it might be something like, probably your sleeves, you want them cut, and they tell you come after 2 weeks to get it. So if that is your passion, if something you can do, then that's a job you can do at home. Yeah. If it's a hobby, there's ladies, some army wives, the baking, it's another level. Yeah. It's like they have their own baking company in their own home, and they've put it very professional. Yeah. So it's all about that extra thing you're doing, saying, who are you? I'm a baker. I will insist on that. I'm a baker. I'm a seamstress. I'm a physical trainer. Do not tell me, I'm asking you, who are you? Your husband is a sergeant. My husband is a W. My husband, that's your husband, and he's living his life. Who are you? I'm Tish Wajona. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 3. I'm a student. And I am employed. I work in the healthcare sector. That is me. Yeah. And that is for the army wives. Guys, I have talked. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do not take you for granted. It's a Sunday night, Sunday evening. I know everyone is thinking about tomorrow being a Monday, but I'm glad you've had comments and some comments and some question. And I would say we cannot exhaust my life as an army wife or my experiences. It's a lot, but it's a journey that I've all through the years I've grown through it. I wouldn't say I'm new, because if I've done it for more than 10 years, for more than a decade now, then not that experienced, because there is people that have been in the army for the last 20 years, but I'm in a better position to give someone hope, or through my experience, to show some of the ways that I've learned, and and to always something to lift your spirit, because at the end of the day, as much as the guys or the lady, whoever is in the army, as much they're out there, I have asked not one or two, when you leave us, ama mkituacha, mnasikianga kitu yoyote? And they did assure me they feel worse than us who are left, because at least for us we have that freedom or independence, or I can see my children growing. I can see that milestone. But for them, they miss all that. So they say they feel it worse. It hits them harder. Yeah. And in order to make it easier, a bit easier for them, or to just, it's good it's good your spouse, what they do, so that you're in a position to support them. And also, on the vice versa, the people that leave us, the people that deploy, when you come back home, it's important that you know what your partner has been going through, so that what you don't drop all their efforts. Like, if it's the children, it's important that you keep. If a mom says, this is what I've been doing to survive, please try and follow it, because that's how she has survived the last 9 months when you are not here. Yeah. And by that's how, as army wives, we've survived. And you can survive. It's doable. Yes, in a year they will go for 7-8 months, and you will be with them for 4 months, the whole year. But the time that we spend for them is what counts. The time that we spend for them is memorable. Guys, this year, we went for my birthday. We did it just as a family, because there were still restrictions. So we went to different towns and spent time out with my family. I take that in me. That's very special. You know why? Because the next one, they might not be around. The anniversary, they might not be around. All the children's birthdays, they might not be around. So that one thing, be it, let me tell you, last Christmas, we did not spend it together. Because he was brought for baby's birth, but baby was born on the 22nd. I think end of November, he left to end his tour. So last year, I remember very well, I spent my Christmas with my mom and my children. Thank God I have that family. But that 25th, yes, my mom was here. All she was doing was cooking. I remember she made like 100 and something chapatis, freezing them because I'm postpartum. It's what Kikuyu calls mosheire. My mom made food and froze the food because she was leaving on the 26th, the following day. So it's not like I celebrated Christmas because all we were doing is for her cooking, freezing, and then she went ahead and packed. And the following day, I took her to the airport. Thank you again to the boys. One of the boys drove me and the children and their shosho to the airport. And we took shosho to the airport on the 26th, Boxing Day. So you can see, so last Christmas, we missed it as a whole family. So if this Christmas, it happens, it's all of us, then those are the things that we look forward to. So guys out there, families, yeah, don't take each other for granted. Don't take each other for granted. Yes, our partners are here with us, but like some of the children wake up, always think of the soldiers' children. They can wake up tomorrow and I'm telling them, Daddy has had to leave last night. And they're like, for how long? And I'm like, I don't know, but he will try and call. So some things break their heart, and you will see that children, whenever they see their dad pack with the bag, they're always like, Daddy, are you coming today? So those times that you have with your family, those special moments, if you've been able to celebrate anything with your family, don't take them for granted. And even when they finish their tours and they come back home, that is God. It's always a testimony, and we are happy. Yes, of course, there is other jobs. They could have chosen any other job. But someone has to be a soldier. Someone has to protect us. And that's why we have everyone in each and every profession. That's why we have the doctors. They could have chosen something different, but they're there for a purpose. So it's the same thing as soldier. They're there for a reason. Yeah. That's why you can see what comes first. What comes first in our mind, what comes first in everyone's mouth. Actually, in UK, if there's any calamity or something, what comes? Can soldiers do this? Can soldiers do this? Why can't they send the soldiers? But even the soldiers have families. I know they signed the contract. I know it's something we have to pay for. But yes, we do appreciate them. We do appreciate them. Johnston, kumbe kuhama huko pia ni hard kama tu huko. Johnston, I would say yes, kuna up and downs. There is up and downs, but definitely we have, I would say kuna advantages. There is advantages, definitely, because when the soldier leaves, of course huyo ni mtu ameenda kazini. So the family is sorted. Yeah, so they are working. And also, even not soldiers, as much as kuna the highest rate of unemployment all over the world, but I would say there's still jobs in these countries. There's still jobs in UK. There's still jobs in these countries compared to back home. Because what I keep saying is, here, no matter what you're doing, if zile job zinaangaliwa chini home, they still get paid better here. Like you can live on those jobs. Yeah. So if you look at someone who cleans back home, you will say, ule mtu wa kuosha choo. But huku, it's a job. It's a job that they are paid well. They're paid okay to sustain the life. Yeah. If it's a supermarket attendant, it's people that are paid well. Our tunaona sijui Nakumat, Taskis, and so on. There's stock replenishers or something. that's a job that is paid okay here because there's minimum wage. So I would say there is opportunities. So it's not that hard because you are able to put food on the table, but it's hard if you have to be in this, like if you have to be in this, like it's another different of hardship. Yeah, like the way you have to be long, what is it called, long separations, you know, having to be one parent is away at work thinking, oh my god, how is my family doing, and you, the other parent, you're here thinking, how am I going to cope with all this? Yeah, those kind of hardships. Yes, that one is hard. It's hard, but the end is always good. When you see them back at home after all those months, it's always good. Yeah. Oh, guys, what do you say? We call it a night because, yeah, I let you do something, and I'm so grateful. And guys, continue subscribing. If you have any question, if you have anything else you'd like me to address, this is the first time actually I'm talking about actually really who I am as a soldier wife. If you'd like to know any more of this, or you have a question, please do not hesitate. Like I always say, we are here to learn. We are here to learn from each other. And yeah, knowledge is power. So I will leave it at that. And of course, you can reach me, Teshwa Jogono on Facebook, Teshwa Jogono on Instagram, and we can continue the conversation on YouTube. So there's so many places you can reach me. And you guys know it, that I do answer questions. If I know, if I have the answer, I do answer them. So I'm going to wish you a lovely week ahead, a good night. And I'll keep saying, stay safe, be blessed, and above all, be kind. Next time, tutapatana hapa tu kwa Teshwa Jogona Vlogs. Thank you for your support.